Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
All right, here we are. It's another edition of Scottplex City. Thanks for tuning on in. We appreciate it. Scotty B is there.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm Scott Pank. What were you just telling me about here? Some
I'm
crazy
reading
news?
rumors these last couple of days. It's been going on for like a little while, but TNA, once again, they're in trouble. You keep on hearing stuff about that.
Right.
But this time around, it's sounding like TNA, WWE is in the running to maybe purchase TNA. And now I'm hearing all these rumors that there's a big pay-per-view, like TNA's biggest pay-per-view of the year, Bound for Glory, is coming up this Sunday, but they don't have the funds to actually like produce it or like put it on, really.
Right.
Apparently. And I don't know, there's a possibility that WWE could be in the midst of maybe possibly purchasing if, I guess, Billy Corgan, I guess he's also looking to buy it and stuff like that. So if he doesn't get somehow in there and somehow snatch everything up, that WWE very well could get their hands on it and buy it.
Wow, that'd be
I don't know
crazy.
what exactly the whole gist of it, what's going on, because it could just totally be BS and rumors and whatnot, but just reading all that stuff that WWE could get their hands on another wrestling organization, that's crazy.
I mean, it would be cool because you get all the back catalogs of Hogan and
Sting, AJ Styles. I mean, that's where AJ Styles spent most of his career, so that would be...
It's probably not that much money to buy Impact Wrestling.
I was reading it was like
TNA.
worth $40 million. I mean, no.
40 million?
$40 million.
I doubt that. I'd say maybe 20.
I mean, the simple fact that I think WWE bought WCW for like $1 million.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in this day and age, things just go up.
Unless they're just valued that high because of their back catalog and what they could charge for Sting and Hogan
that very well
and
could
now
be.
AJ Styles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that plays into it, but if they're having trouble getting money to produce their biggest pay-per-view of the year, then that really kind of makes me feel like the rumors of them trying to get CM Punk are false. Because
I don't
if you
think CM
can't...
Punk's going back to wrestling
Either do I. And I don't think, if you can't put on your pay-per-view, you definitely can't afford CM Punk. Let's just be real here.
Absolutely,
He's coming back, he wants money. A good amount of money. Exactly. So, we'll see here. I mean, it'll be really interesting if WWE does get in conversation to buy TNA. Because I do feel TNA is inspiring a whole bunch of stuff going on in wrestling right now.
I mean, you saw that thing with the New Day and the Wyatt family looked a lot like that final deletion thing, and a few other things. I mean, obviously TNA is not doing so bad because quite a few guys from TNA were snatched up by WWE. You got your Samoa Joes, you got your Bobby Roodes.
Right.
You have T.J. Perkins, who's actually was in TNA not so long ago, and a few other guys. Eric Young, there's another one. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a chance, they'd snatch up Matt Hardy, because broken Matt Hardy is like one of the biggest things in wrestling right now.
It is. Love it or hate it. It really is.
I don't get it, really, because it's so freaking over the top and weird. I'm
not on board with it.
I'm not exactly on board with it, but I watch it and I laugh.
I appreciate the commitment it takes to do a character like that. Especially, he was on Talk is Jericho.
And he was totally in character.
Is that his podcast?
Yeah.
Whatever his podcast.
Talk
And he
is
was
Jericho.
in character the whole entire time. And I was like, at first I was listening, I was like, okay, he's got to break a little bit in. And it just kept getting crazier and crazier. And I was like, this dude is a loony. So, I mean...
And that was one of the other rumors that I heard, that Triple H was actually interested in bringing Matt Hardy back in, basically because of this character. So they very well could bring in the broken Matt Hardy character into WWE if they wanted them, because I think his contract is up sometime early next year.
Broken Matt versus... Who? Seth Rollins?
You could have something like that, yeah. Or against Bray Wyatt, two very crazy characters. That would be good.
Interesting. I would like to actually see Matt Hardy.
I'd like to see Jeff Hardy. I'd like to see Jeff Hardy come back in too.
Jeff just scares me. His addictions, I think, kind of get the best of him a little too much.
But the way
unfortunately,
I kind of like the way he's going with this character. The way he's broken Jeff Hardy and Brother Nero.
yeah,
Brother Nero, I knew you'd come. That's another thing. It's just like, really?
It's so weird.
And that whole introduction music that Jeff has, that blah 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 blah
obsolete,
obsolete. And then they keep on going on and on with it. It's like, okay, it's annoying. Get on with whatever you're doing. Annoying, but still, I kind of like the characters, but some things are kind of like,
right.
Okay, just get rid of that.
I think TNA is onto something, but
I think the only thing they're really onto, because everything else is just.
They're not really living up to par.
Billy Corgan being on TV as a character, that sucks.
I don't like it.
He's awful.
I hate it.
He needs some serious acting skills, acting lessons or whatever, because he sucks on air.
And it don't take much to be a good actor in wrestling.
Yeah.
Because wrestling acting is crappy, and if you can't even do that,
yeah.
Like, come on, bruh. Go back and play some pumpkin crap.
Yeah. That's where he should be playing his...
Yeah. Go do Disarm or your Bull with Butterfly Wings.
The world is a vampire.
Go do all that stuff on stage.
Yeah.
Let's stay away from wrestling.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying you can't do both,
No.
but I don't know if Corgan is the right person for it.
He doesn't strike me as like a wrestling type
No.
guy. You know, there's some guys out there, maybe like the bass player from Metallica, who looks like Roman Reigns. You know, I could see him maybe getting in the ring and doing something. But Billy
what have you done before this in wrestling? It's like you're an artist that does it. There's very few artists that I feel like are like so about wrestling or whatever. Like, there's one artist that I can think of, like Wale. He does Wale Mania when WrestleMania goes on. He's a rapper and he does it like in the same area that WrestleMania is, and he has all the wrestlers come. You'll see him. He's backstage at Raw and stuff all the time. So if he was like to take a part in wrestling, I could be like, okay, well, I believe it because he's done stuff with wrestling without it being a job.
Yeah.
But to me, I feel like it's just a job for Corgan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, get somebody in there that actually freaking loves the sport.
I think Corgan does, because I think he's done some stuff back in the day with ECW and all that. But he just doesn't look like a wrestling fan. I guess that's what I'm just trying to say. I don't know what it is. There's something doesn't fit with him.
And this is the most we've talked about TNA in forever.
I was thinking the same thing.
I don't think we've ever talked about TNA this much or said TNA this many times all year long. But
I've also heard stuff like if Corgan was to get his hands on it, that he wants to change the name of the company, not to be TNA anymore, which I find weird because they've been calling Impact Wrestling for so long. I thought that was the name of the company that they changed it to, but they still have the TNA Championship. So I was like, what is the damn name of the company?
TNA is the brand like WWE, and then Impact Wrestling is the name of the show, like Raw is the name of the show. They have never been able to distinguish the difference between
It's just totally confusing to me.
And I think that's one of the problems when it comes to the branding and the actual sale of their company. But you want to get into Raw?
Let's do that.
And SmackDown
Let's
and
do that.
Clash of Champions and some other stuff here. We just spent like 8 minutes on
Nothing wrong with that.
TNA.
Nothing wrong.
No, not at all. But we did spend time on TNA, and I had somebody tweet me like a month and a half ago saying...
Oh, before we get into anything else, I promised this last week to a buddy of mine. He's a local wrestler, a local promoter named Chris Envy. He has events around here all the time. Dynasty Wrestling.
Dynasty? I'm familiar with Dynasty. I've gone to a couple of their shows.
I believe he's got an event coming up in October. Big Trouble in Little Cairo, I think is the name of the event. So definitely check that out. Go on Facebook, look it up, and check it out.
Wrestling.
Dynasty Wrestling. Good stuff. I haven't had a chance to go to any of the shows, but I know our good friend, our mutual friend Brian Cady, many times does announcing and ring announcing there. So definitely check out the shows. They're always entertaining. Chris Envy.
Chris.
Yes.
Chris, I feel like we're friends on Facebook.
You probably are.
Like we are.
Yeah. We probably chatted on one of those local wrestling Facebook sites.
Yo, Chris, I would love to get in the ring and cut a promo and take one bump.
I'll take a bump. You know?
I'll take a bump.
That's
I'm
it.
down to do something, so maybe we'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
And then maybe we'll have something crazy to talk about on a podcast. Yeah, but check out Dynasty Wrestling.
Like I said, I haven't had a chance to check out any of the shows. Checked out a lot of YouTube videos. They look they put on a great show.
The show I went to was really good.
Yeah, you went to
it. It was at Boys and Girls Club or YMCA, whatever, one of those two. And I don't remember where. Oh, it was Raid and Troy.
That's right, yeah.
Boys Club. So, yeah.
And they usually bring in like a famous wrestler. I think they had Jake the Snake Roberts, Tony Atlas. They had Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. So there's always a big name. And plus the guys who are not the big names, but they're great local talent. So it's definitely something to check out, yeah.
Also, real quick, one more rumor. We were talking about some rumors in the beginning of the show and before we actually get in Clash of the Champions, Raw and SmackDown, all that stuff. I hear that Kurt Hawkins hasn't debuted yet on SmackDown.
Not. He's still doing his
Even
Kurt Hawkins
facts.
vignettes.
Is because he still has indie dates that he has to fill. So once he gets done doing all those dates, then we'll start to see him on television.
That makes sense.
So that's what I hear. Is it true? I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, because they've been going so long with these promos and introduction promos. Like, okay, hello. Is he supposed to show up?
It's definitely been a little bit. Now, for the Clash of Champions, we each went 4 for 8.
They've been doing good the last few times.
No, but we tied, though. So we'll run it down and we'll combine, Clash of Champions with Raw here, and then we'll get into SmackDown. It just kind of works that way, you know what I mean? So let's start off with, we're going to kind of just pass over this real quick. But Nia Jax, of course, defeated Alicia Fox.
There was no doubt there.
Yeah, everybody's
Nia Jax, the new monster of the women's division.
I think one of the biggest surprises of the night is the fact that Luke and Carl didn't win the tag team championships.
And they lost the next night, too.
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, when I saw the fact that the New Day cheated to win that match, they'll get the rematch the next night, and then Luke and Carl will get the belts on Raw.
Right.
And they lost the next night, too.
And I was thinking, I know that I picked, we both picked them, Luke and Carl to win.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, okay, once New Day won at Clash of Champions, and like you said, they cheated to win, so that gave them 400 days. So I was like, oh, okay, so they want to kind of make it a solid number. Oh, 400 days as champion. They're definitely going to drop it tonight on Raw.
A lot like they did with Nikki and Charlotte with the Divas Championship.
Exactly.
When Nikki became the longest reigning Divas Champion, boom, a little bit later, Charlotte finally won the belt.
So I was thinking something similar to that, but... Dude, I'm surprised. Like, listen, I have no problem with the New Day being champion.
They're still over, so it's all good.
But I'm surprised that they're still rolling.
I'm wondering if they're going to start having them go after Demolition's record, because I guess Demolition's record was like 450 some odd days. So I wonder if they're going to make them the longest reigning tag team, the longest reigning WWE World Tag Team Champions, and then have them drop it.
Yeah, I mean, it's only, 2 more pay-per-views in a sense? It gives them time to get out of this feud, start a new feud, and maybe lose it the second time against a new feud because, it's like, where do they go from here, the New Day? Because the Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows Bullet Club stuff here, that's not really going anywhere.
I'm
I think it's time for them to move different directions. For real, me too, which is extreme surprise. But I think now we're going to see Sheamus and Cesaro because they were combined.
They combined them on Raw.
They're going to be. They did that this past Monday night because at Clash of Champions they got counted out.
Well, they basically kind of stopped the match more or less.
Yeah, because of injury or
whatever. A nice little way to extend this feud or whatever the heck they're doing with those two guys.
You said I wouldn't be surprised if they find a way to extend it. And they found a way to extend it.
They found a way to do it, yep.
And then the big surprise is that, I mean, they're going to be going for the tag team champions, right? Because it was for a championship match. They got put together as a tag team. So now are we going to get them versus the New Day? Could they be the ones that take it from the New Day?
I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with that. I just find that strange that that's where they would go to have those guys beat the New Day instead of someone like Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I mean, the team that everyone expected to win. So I'm not sure exactly where they're going with this. Are they going to team those two together and then Sheamus ends up screwing Cesaro over and then we keep this feud going? I don't know.
It's interesting to see what they're going to do with this, and I still don't know how I feel about Cesaro and Sheamus as a tag team.
I really don't like it right now. I like their feud. I mean, they had some great matches. That Best of 7 series is great, but I mean, right now they supposedly hate each other. So are they going to end up being able to coexist, or is someone going to screw the other one over? And is it they're going to try to do one up each other all the time? I don't know.
What's the last tag team that got forced together like this? Can you remember?
I really don't remember. I mean, back in the day, you had the Rock and Sock Connection. I don't think they were forced together, but you had two guys who weren't really friends that ended up becoming friends. So
did they become champions?
Oh, absolutely, a few times, yeah, quite a few times.
But it's like Cesaro and Sheamus. That's not that level, too. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but I don't know how. We'll see, because at the end of the day, I was surprised that I wasn't a fan of the Cesaro Sheamus thing at first. I wasn't a fan of it up until about last week. But, after seeing the promo they cut on Raw, which was okay. I mean, Cesaro definitely needs mic work, number one. He's not really that good at it.
He's great in the ring, so he really steps it up with his ring work.
So I would suggest that Sheamus be the mic man of this tag team, definitely. And maybe you say a few things every now and then. But, I mean, I got into it. That match at Clash of Champions was a really, really solid match. They beat the hell out of each other. Great match. Not a show stealer, but it was a contender for one of the best matches of the night. And then on Raw, Cesaro and Sheamus, they defeated Nick Cutler and Willis Williams.
Couple jobbers.
Yeah, some local
they're
jobbers.
They're definitely doing the big thing with the jobbers again.
Yeah, because Bayley took on a jobber, too.
Bayley took on a jobber. They did all this stuff with Braun Strowman and Nia Jax. So we're seeing the whole jobber thing happen again. And I see people on Twitter and stuff like that bitching, why are we having so many of that? Back in the day, that's all we had. I don't mind it at all, because that way you can
keep your
talent fill
safe
time,
too.
Keep your talent safe, and you can wait out these matches to have them on a pay-per-view. So you don't have all these pay-per-view quality type matches every single week. You can wait it out a little bit.
Yeah, I think
that's just the old school me, I guess.
I think that's the proper way to think. I think, at the same time, you do have to have new school thinking, but you can't forget about some of the old things that worked. Just tweak them a little. How did it work before, and just tweak it to modern times. That's what I think a lot of stuff is missing. There's certain things that are truly missing. Like, you kind of touched on this last week or the week before. I don't remember what your words of saying, but basically you said SmackDown is a wrestling show, and Raw is a show about a wrestling show. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Raw's more entertainment, and SmackDown, since they have the 2 hours, they just basically go all out wrestling. Yeah. Even though Raw started right off the bat with a half-an-hour match with Roman Reigns,
which I was surprised about.
I was shocked by that.
But back to that one point real quick, I just want to say I think that's why SmackDown's getting a little bit more buzz right now, because it's kind of older school mentality toward the product. But the way that Raw did start off the match, because at Clash of Champions, Roman Reigns, what you predicted, won the United States Championship, took that belt right off of Rusev. A great match, brutal match. I mean, there was a lot of great matches on Clash of Champions, to be honest with you. And then the following night, they kick off Raw, and a 30-minute match, there's the first 35 minutes of the show was dedicated to Roman and Rusev putting work in again 2 nights in a row. Hell of a match. But what happened? What was the outcome of that match?
They were both counted out. They started battling outside of the ring, and then I think they got back into the ring. Chair was used, and then basically they just kept going right along, but they're just getting brutal with each other. So really nothing was settled there. So we're bound to see probably, I think their next pay-per-view is Hell in the Cell for Raw, I think.
Who knows?
We could see a Hell in the Cell between those two guys.
I think that this feud is a feud that could potentially be a huge feud on Raw that surprises people, like the whole thing with Dolph and Miz over on SmackDown.
So good.
We'll get into that in just a little bit. We'll also talk about AJ and Dean and John Cena and all that as well in a few minutes. But the same way that feud has picked up, I think there's potential for this Rusev and Roman Reigns feud. I mean, there's a lot there. Roman's got a lot better on the mic. He's not the best mic worker, but I think he can do what he needs to do.
He does what he does in the ring, too.
I think Rusev can, do mic stuff, too, and then they both do really good in the ring. They're both underrated in the ring.
I mean, I've seen Roman in so many good matches these last few months. I mean, he's handling his own. He might not be the best wrestler out there. He's no AJ Styles. He's no Cesaro or anything like that, but he handles his own, and he's been putting on some great matches. So, I mean, I really still don't understand the hate. That's just the way it seems to be.
It's because he's the company guy. The company wanted him. And even though, if you remember originally, everybody wanted Roman, because if you go back to that one Royal Rumble, everybody wanted him to win.
They wanted him to win, and like when he's part of the Shield, people were cheering him. People were basically saying, oh, he's going to be the breakout star. So many people were saying he's the breakout star before they really were even pushing him. And the simple fact that he became the star of the three, basically, through the company, oh, we hate him now. It's just so stupid. It's dumb.
Nope, that's the Smarky universe.
Yeah, that's what I can't stand.
So that's a great little feud right there. The Raw Women's Championship took place, which was Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. Charlotte won. She pinned Bayley. I didn't think Bayley was going to win at all. No. And, they continued to make Bayley look strong. Like, they gave her a jobber the following night on Raw, and she definitely did. She made herself look really strong there. Sasha came out and confronted Charlotte the next night. Sasha came out and confronted Charlotte. Did I say that? I don't know what I said. Whatever. I don't know what the hell I said right now. But this feud, it needs something. I'm a big fan of it, but it's missing something right now. We need to get something going a little bit more. I don't know what it is. I mean, Charlotte's doing her part. I feel like Sasha's doing her part, but I feel like there's something missing from it.
Why not give them a women's Hell in the Cell match? We've never seen that. That's the next Raw pay-per-view, so I don't think they get totally brutal, but, put them in the cell.
I haven't seen a women's cell match, and
we've never had a Hell in the Cell match. I've seen cage matches here and there, but it doesn't usually happen. I would like just something a little different, but
like that. Something like that would, I feel like, give it. There just needs they need to put the stakes. They need to raise up. I mean, I know they're going for the championship, but
I personally think that would be a good idea to have those two in the Hell in the Cell, because Dana Brooke is always interfering. What's a good way to have her not interfere? Give him a cage.
Yeah. Dana Brooke, you think she's going to start to get a little bit more push going with her soon here?
I don't know where they're going with her.
Like, should she be the fourth person in the mix of this title scene?
Not right now. I think Bayley and Sasha are the two that should really be in that. But I don't know exactly where they're going with the whole Dana Brooke thing. She still seems to be, Charlotte's B word, and that's all she is right now. So at some point, she's probably going to get fed up, and she's going to finally really truly snap and stop, going back to Charlotte. So right now, that's all she is. She's just the lackey for Charlotte.
That's funny. Unfortunately, Dana Brooke. WWE Universal Champion Kevin Owens defeated Seth Rollins. Then they played us. I mean, great match, by the way. Personally, my favorite match of the night on the card, Seth versus
I liked it.
Kevin Owens.
It was really good.
Really good match. I feel like it was like a long match too. Could be wrong. It was like a half an hour or something.
It seemed like that, yeah.
Maybe longer. Felt like it took up a good amount of time.
It did.
Great wrestling. Was a huge fan of it. The following night, or the following day, WWE had you believing that Rollins was injured, his rib was
They're saying
hurt.
he might really well be, so once
they took him to doctors.
Could be totally be kayfabe, or maybe he really was, because he took that like gut buster. I mean, he looked like he was selling it like mad. So either he's a great actor or he got some busted up ribs.
I think he has some busted up ribs. That's why he was able to sell it so damn good, because it freaking legitimately hurt. Had to have.
Yeah.
If not, you're a freaking strong-ass dude. And then the following night, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho team up to beat Enzo and Big Cass. Love how they're using Enzo and Big Cass for big moments on, Raw, and it's just a matter of time before they start, headlining pay-per-views, and it's going to be insane. I still want this Enzo and Big Cass versus New Day.
Yeah, that'd be good. I love the banter between Jericho and Enzo and Big Cass. Did you say you wanted to sit on my lap? You sanity clause? I was like, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. I said I'm going to punch you in the face.
So good.
So good.
Jericho and Sami Zayn match at Clash of Champions was awesome
some good
as
stuff,
well. Too. Where was Zayn the following night on Raw, though?
I don't know.
You can't do this, WWE. Keep him in the picture.
Well, it's the same thing with Clash of Champions. Enzo and Big Cass weren't on that card. Why was that?
Right.
I didn't get that. I mean, I'm glad they put them in the main event of the Raw, but where the heck were they the night before? They should have been on the card.
They need to get in this tag team mix. New Day needs to drop the title to them.
Yeah.
That's what I personally think. I think that would be the right call right there. And before we get into SmackDown here, we got the Cruiserweight division happen. T.J. Perkins defeated Brian Kendrick to retain the championship, the Cruiserweight title. Great match, but personally, the same as the following night on Raw with the match, Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann took on
Lindsay Dorado.
Okay, and Drew Gulak. So, I mean, I personally, little notes that I took, maybe this is just me, how I feel. First of all, T.J. Perkins makes extremely weird noises in the ring. I do not like them. And then also I feel that they're trying too hard to impress and they're botching a lot of moves where if they just take a step back, I think it would be a lot better. I think they're trying too hard right now, the Cruiserweight division.
I think it's a little rough for them because a lot of those guys I think are usually in smaller rings so they can do those moves a little bit easier and they got bigger rings in WWE. So I think that might be one of the problems as far as doing some of those moves. I could totally be wrong, but...
No, that would explain stuff.
That very well could be, but I love what I saw from Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Cedric in ROH, great talent, and I've seen Rich Swann, seen some of his indie stuff on YouTube and stuff like that, and seen what I've been seeing from him in the Cruiserweight Classic. Totally, those guys are stars right there, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from this so far.
Like, I really like it, I just don't try too hard because I feel like sometimes when you make few botches in a match, it takes away how good it actually is because you're trying all this crazy stuff. And I respect it. I love it. But sometimes less is more.
I mean, plus the fact that they're doing this stuff on a live show. So, jitters might be there and they can't do any editing or anything like that. So, I mean, what we saw in the Cruiserweight Classic... There might have been some editing in there, a few spots. Who knows? Even though there was a few botches that they totally left in, so who knows? They might have just totally gone the whole way clean with that. So who knows?
Right. So we're about to dive into SmackDown here. We're gonna go a little quick here. There's supposed to be these EA tests going on at the radio station and stuff, so we might get interrupted if we're recording and they happen. I don't know how that works when you're recording and you're not actually on air.
That's not going to bother us.
Okay, so hopefully it don't.
Someone comes running in here like, oh my God, what's going on? No.
So if someone comes running in or you start to hear crazy beeping and screeching sounds, it's because stuff is going on and we don't have control over that. All right, so the mind games continue with Bray Wyatt challenging Orton to come find him on SmackDown. Very weird. I would say this type of feud going on and the weird strangeness is inspired by Broken Matt, to be honest with you.
A little strange.
I like it. I feel Orton's getting a little more into it. I think he needs to get more into it. Bray is knocking it out the park, but...
every single time.
But, I mean, Orton's barely hitting 300.
I just find it weird what happened at the end of that whole little shtick they did throughout the night where you saw Orton put the mask on and everything started getting all weird. And it was like, I couldn't tell, was that something that was supposed to happen or was that some sort of technical glitch? Because all of a sudden you see Bray sitting there and he's talking and...
Yeah,
there's nothing coming out.
There was something weird with that.
So I was like, was that supposed? Is that part of the whole thing, or is that a total technical glitch right there?
A lot of missed cues in that segment right there. I like where it's going. I think when we actually get the match, it's going to be a pretty good match. And Bray needs to go over. He needs to go over. We've been saying that for weeks. He needs to go over. The Usos teamed up with the Ascension. I
totally like the Usos' new look. I like the fact they have a new theme music because what they had before was more face, and this is total heel sounding type theme, so I like where they're going with it.
Yeah, they're just wearing regular pants and just a regular shirt, no paint. They're not doing the stuff anymore. Straight heel team, I love it. So good. This is the Usos that need to go. They teamed up with the Ascension. I didn't even know they were.
And the Ascension finally got a win, even though technically they didn't make the pinfall. They got a win.
Yep, and they beat Heath Slater and Rhino versus an American Alpha. Great match, good tag team. I mean, I would maybe have liked to seen 2 matches, but I mean, I guess they're just trying to get the talent on there.
Absolutely. I mean, you have 2 hours. You gotta, do as
sometimes
much
you
as
gotta
you
do
can.
stuff like that. I get that, but if that was Raw, I'd rather have seen 2 tag team matches personally. But Carmella and Natalie team up to beat Nikki Bella and Naomi. I mean, you tweeted this last night, like
I found it weird that not very long ago, Carmella and Natalya, they were the faces, and the other two, they were the heels. Now it's just very quickly the roles have totally switched.
I like it, but
I'm still not digging the fact they turned Carmella heel, but she's doing her job. I mean, she's a great heel right now, so I really dig what I'm saying.
I think
right
instead
there.
of doing these tag team things, they just need to let Carmella and Nikki go.
I would think that would probably happen in the next pay-per-view.
Let's get rid of this little tag team thing going on, unless you want to introduce a women's tag team championship.
Don't have enough girls right now. Don't have enough women. I don't want to sound sexist. Don't have enough women right now for that, I think. I think you need more. You need to definitely put more women in both shows to do something like that.
Yeah. Unless they find something to be able to have one title that could go back and forth, because there is only 15 women, maybe both rosters.
I would think
20,
yeah,
something like that.
Combined, yeah, absolutely.
Or you could have it. It could be an NXT team, could be Raw, could be SmackDown team,
yeah.
something like that. It's maybe an option to explore. We're going to save Miz and Dolph talk for the end, because that's the best. Let's continue on with the women's division. Alexa Bliss, she ambushed Becky Lynch as she's walking down, attacks her. I mean, what they're doing to build up Alexa Bliss and make her look like she's a threat is really good, considering if you looked at her, you would be like, oh, she's just a pretty girl.
5'0" and
what's she going to do? But the way that they
turn her into a total badass, and I like that.
And they need to do that more with people.
Mm-hmm.
And something that's the thing that confuses me sometimes. It's like, how do you do this right, but you don't do that right? But I guess you can't do everything right. But they're knocking it out the park. The second time using that terminology today. They're knocking it out the park with Alexa Bliss and bringing her up to speed. I don't think she's going to take the belt from.
I think they're going to
Becky.
keep it on Becky for a while. Yeah.
I think when Becky drops it, she'll probably drop it to Nikki Bella.
More than likely.
And I would say Royal Rumble.
If not, maybe somehow the way they're doing this whole thing with Carmella and Nikki, we could see somehow Carmella come out with the championship, and then Nikki wants her revenge. She takes the belt. I don't know if I would see if they would really have like a face versus face go against each other and have that happen. They might. I mean, it's not like they're not doing that now, because you have this whole feud kind of going with Ambrose and Cena and whatnot. But I think they would have Becky drop to a heel, and then Nikki beat that particular heel.
Right.
That's the way I would probably book it if I was to do something like that. But what do I know?
Hey, Nikki and John, same show. Oh, I wonder who called that, John. John's back in the mix, and Mr. Cena sitting, with the ring announcers, or not ring announcers, the commentary.
Commentary, yeah.
And he's talking his talk and saying, oh, yeah, I can't be number 16 if I don't wrestle, and all this stuff, and beat all this stuff. And I like the stuff that he was saying, but I think you said the little thing with Dean and Cena. I think that's gone now. I don't know where Dean's going, but since Dean lost on SmackDown this week, he had a championship rematch versus AJ Styles. He lost.
He lost it, yeah.
I mean, AJ's now going to go on to take on John Cena at
and Dean Ambrose. He's still in that match.
Oh, he's still
in that triple threat match. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
So he's still got another shot. Yep.
Oh, what's that pay-per-view?
That's No Mercy. That's about 2 weeks.
Oh.
Pay attention, man.
I missed that. I thought that if he lost, he was out of the
No, he's still in it. He's still in it.
Dude, I literally yesterday I watched Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, we're all busy. It's tough to keep up with this stuff,
God, dang.
Especially when there's these days when you have the pay-per-view, then the Raw, and then the SmackDown and stuff like that. It makes things very, very difficult. Yes.
Okay, so that changes stuff. I was going to say I don't know what they're going to do with Dean now if he's out of it, because
he's still in it.
All right, so eventually I would like to see Dean maybe take on Miz or Dolph Ziggler. To be honest with you, because what Miz and Dolph are both doing is crazy, and the stipulation on the match coming up at No Mercy, which is the title career match, I love this.
I love the passion that was coming out of Dolph in that, and the whole fact that both those guys are from Cleveland. You have their hometown crowd, and just Miz being the great heel that he is, he comes out and basically just points to the screen and shows all his highlights and whatnot. And then Dolph, just giving that very passionate speech saying, basically, I've been told I can't do it, and maybe I should give it up and all that kind of stuff, and just give me one more chance, and I'm going to put it all on the line. I'm putting my career up. I'm totally invested in this feud. I was these last few weeks, and the fact that they're doing this now totally makes me want to watch this pay-per-view.
And that's next Sunday, right?
That's not next Sunday, but I think the Sunday after.
Okay, good. At least we get a break. Woo! I need a break. Yeah, I personally think this is the best feud in all of wrestling. WWE, TNA, ROH, New Japan. All of wrestling, Miz, Dolph, best thing going. The passion, the matches in the ring, the promos, everything that they're doing is just clicking and hitting and just...
I agree.
Perfect.
I totally agree.
It's almost a shame that it's almost going to end soon. I mean, either way, we're going to get another pay-per-view after this one, because if Dolph loses, somehow he's coming back and he's going to be in the mix. If Miz drops the title, he's coming back.
He's going to get his rematch, probably.
So at least it's continuing on, but this is definitely best feud in the entire business.
I think so.
You gotta give your respect to Miz.
Those guys have totally been stepping it up. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't give enough respect to either one of them. And if you haven't watched this, it's like, if you don't have any respect for them now, then just stop watching. Stop watching wrestling completely, because those two guys are really giving it their all. I mean, I don't know where this was the longest time. I mean, Miz has always been a great heel, but he's been totally stepping up even higher and higher these last few months. And I've always felt that Dolph has been so underrated and underappreciated. He's always, given it all in the ring, but this time around with the promos and just the heartfelt promos he's been given, I love what I'm seeing from these guys.
It's almost like their passion and their drive is making the IC title feel more important than the world title. My opinion.
That's true.
I love what they're doing, so keep that going, guys. That's pretty much that this week in wrestling right there. Crazy busy week.
We'll see what happens by the weekend if we actually have a TNA pay-per-view.
Imagine if they don't.
Oh, my God. They're like hyping this thing that it doesn't happen. It's probably going to happen. This is probably all just rumors, and they still have enough money to put this on, but can you imagine if it doesn't?
I would hope so. I mean, listen, I'm not
Or at the beginning of the pay-per-view, Vince McMahon, I bought TNA.
We're just going to leave it at that, because that would be legendary. This is Scottplex City. Every single Wednesday, the audio edition comes out. You can subscribe to Scottplex City, which you could also find Pank's podcast. It's the same damn thing. Find that in iTunes. Subscribe, rate the show, leave some comment about it. If you're on SoundCloud, Scott Radio, SoundCloud, and then you'll see a Scottplex City podcast layout, and you can listen to this show and all of our past shows there. Also, if you're on Stitcher, you can subscribe on Stitcher. If you want to watch us, see our mugs, we put out a video version on Thursday.
Yes.
So check it out. Scotty B, how they get at you?
You find me on Twitter. I believe it's somewhere in one of the corners.
Yeah, I've been mixing it up.
You mixing it up? Okay, it might be in that corner, that corner, that corner, that corner.
It's one of them.
Scotty B 1976 on Twitter, Scotty Bizzle 76 on the Instagram, and Scotty Blaine on the Facebook. That is Scotty with an IE, not a Y.
Scott Radio's how you get at me. Subscribe, Scottplex City. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.